All right, here we go. All right, there's something in music called articulations. In conversations that you have with somebody, when you're talking just like I am, I'm going up, I'm going down, I'm stopping. There's energy at moments. There's an up and down movement in my pitch as I talk. So similar to that in guitar, when you're soloing, you want it to be articulated in a way that you would communicate it. So when you hear guitar players like Stevie Ray Vaughan or B.B. King or Eric Clapton or John Mayer, they're articulating the notes of the pentatonic scale or the blues scale, whatever notes they're playing, in a way that's personal to them. When you hear Stevie Ray Vaughan play, it's really big and aggressive and he attacks the string. When it's B.B. King, his tone is a little different. The guitar he's playing is different, but it's also a lot more softer, not as fast. And then Eric Clapton to me is sort of a mix between B.B. King and Stevie Ray Vaughan. So what articulations are is where you bend a string, right? Instead of doing, let's say, a couple notes that you're improvising or communicating on the guitar, say you're doing this, right? It's straightforward. Down, 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 down. Okay, so that's just playing it. If you were to articulate it, let's say with some bends, with a bend, which is when you play a note and pull it up, that's an articulation. Adding a bend to this would make that same thing sound like this. Right? Now if we added some hammer-ons to that, a hammer-on is when you play a note and then bring it down. So if we added a hammer-on articulation to that with a bend, it would sound like this. Right? So now we're already starting to articulate this way different, and it's starting to sound more interesting, more like a conversation would be. If you were talking to someone and it was just straight the whole time, or sometimes known as monotone, but if I were to start talking in more monotone without going up and down, it would start to sound the same the whole time through. The whole time I would be at the same wavelength, not moving up or down. And very soon you start to lose interest. You're like, what's going on? So what keeps you engaged and feels more natural and more human would be adding articulations. So again, instead of something like that, we can go, and that starts to make it a little bit more interesting. So 2 articulations right there pointed out. Bends and adding hammer-ons would do that. Now there's loads more of articulations that makes playing so cool. Another one that I really like that's used often is called a vibrato. So it's kind of like vibrato is like a really fast bending of the note up and down. So instead of a bend, which is, right, just, vibrato is when you go, right? We hear that all the time in improvising and solos. It's like our favorite part to listen to. So let's say if I was doing the same little phrase up here, right? There's our hammer-on and our bend. So let's see if I can now add somewhere in this some vibrato. giant difference. And so when I finally came across or understood this meaning of articulations, it opened up a whole new understanding of, oh, that's what a bend is, that's what tremolo picking is, that's what a hammer-on and pull-off is. And so once I understood that concept, I was then able to start applying it more intentionally to my playing, and it helps you realize what these great players are doing to make their solos sound so good. Because sometimes you're sitting there and you're like, well, dude, I'm playing the pentatonic scale, but how come it sounds so flat and so lame? Well, you need to start articulating those notes in a specific way to elicit the response you want from the audience, or to communicate what you're trying to communicate on the guitar. If you're trying to communicate something that's monotone and straight, that's what you want. But if you want to add a little bit more, right, that fast bend even is a little more aggressive, kind of a Stevie Ray Vaughan, right? And if it was maybe more B.B. King, it's that little subtle difference, right? Stevie Ray Vaughan, B.B. King. So there's a couple things you can experiment with, but that's a little bit deeper into what articulations are. So have some fun with that and see where that goes. I'm offering a couple spots of Zoom lessons right now. And so if that's something you're interested in, let's dive into that, and more stuff to come. But reach out to me on my website, and we can go from there. Thanks for staying tuned. See you next time.